Welcome back to the My Pro Golfer channel. Jeremy Franks coming to you here from the chipping range again at Summerfield Golf Club in Tampa, Florida. Gang, we are on our series of how to get better around the greens by being really specific about what distance we're trying to hit. And tonight, we're going over the 40 to 50 yard shot for the low handicap golfer and the high handicap golfer. Like it, subscribe, check out those videos before if you haven't seen them yet, and then we'll get deep into learning this very difficult golf shot. Hey, thanks for watching today's episode. Here at My Pro Golfer, you know we like to keep things simple. And today, I've got a special gift for you to help you never miss a 5-foot putt again. Click the link below and download today. So you might ask yourself, why did he say very difficult golf shot? And I'm going to share that with you right now. The reason why this is difficult is very much like in tennis. There's this area that's called no man's land where you're just stuck. You rarely ever see a tour player lay up to 50 yards. And the reason is we can't get a lot of spin on the ball from a tour player in that distance. We just don't have the speed. And then we generally are going to be in an awkward spot. So 50 yards, unless you're directly in front of the green, you might have to go up and over a hump, or you've got a bunker in your way or something to that effect where you don't have the ability to make a full golf shot, but you've still got to somehow make par. And so we're going to start with your high handicap player. Now, we're fortunate in this particular scenario that we could take a 7 or an 8 iron and hit a shot. And I'll show you why. Right here, the 40-yard shot is to the left up there, and you got a pretty browned out area where the grass is pretty light. And so we could actually chip through this pretty easily with not a lot of risk and let it roll out. So we're going to do that tonight only because the space is available. So we got a 40-yard shot. If I get myself with a decent lie in the rough, I'm going to be able to get an 8 iron out of there. We don't want 7 at this point because the rough is so thick. We might actually compress the ground and get an uncomfortable contact. 8 is probably the least amount of loft that I'm going to want any of you to do. So the goal is get the toe down, brush the ground again, and we're trying to land it in that burned out section of grass so it bounces up over the fringe and rolls out like a putt. Let's see how we do. So feet close together, lean the shaft slightly in front of the belt buckle, the toe down so the hosel doesn't dig, and we're just going to try to brush it into that spot. Good, got a good little bounce there. You see it grab there. Okay, so we didn't get enough there. We'll try that one more time. Going to need to be a little bit more assertive because the grass grabbed it pretty strong. And we got to make sure we give it enough pop to get it through that rough. All right, so now you're noticing that was a weird bounce. It kicked left. So you're on the green, and as a high handicapper, okay, good, but I'm probably in 2, possibly 3 putt range. And we struck both of those right in the center. So we're learning that the 40-yard shot, trying to get it up and over rough, may be worth the risk of going a little higher lofted. So let's take our sand wedge. I know high handicappers, you're like, sand wedge, that's a lot of loft. But now you're into this series, you've done a few of them, maybe we can pull it off. And we can keep it short and sweet, just trying to get it up without a lot of movement. We'll play a little bit back in our stance to help the high handicapper get some grass into that. And we're going to run it up, getting it just over that fringe and rolling out. So toe down, chest on top, brush through. We got a lot more loft there. We got a lot of grab. We hit it really solid. That's just about right distance control for a high handicapper. You want to practice this, okay? I don't want you to just jump right into it. Make sure that this scenario you're comfortable with just getting it on the green with an 8 iron before you suggest any kind of risk. So from a scratch player, we're going to be more precise. We're like, oh, licking our chops. We're almost to a par 5 and 2. Something like that will give you that 50-yard shot. But we've got to get a little bit more loft, a little bit more speed, a little more spin, get this ball to land. Lie does matter. I'm going with my highest lofted club because I want to throw it as far as I can to put the most amount of spin on it so that I can get it to grab and stop. So I'm going to throw this almost 75% of the way for a scratch player. Same technique, same setup, just a little bit bigger swing. That landed about halfway on the green, so 3/4 of the way there, and it rolled out to about 6 feet. That's exactly what I'm looking for from 50 yards. I'm gonna be a scratch player. I'm gonna make most of my 6-footers. I got a chance to make birdie, if worst case scenario, chipping out of the trees and trying to make par on a par 4. All right, all you high handicappers, we're moving on to the 50-yard shot. We're gonna take what we learned from the 40-yard shot and enhance that. So we know that the 8-iron grabbed a little bit too early in that rough, and we've got more rough. If you see that back flag there, that's 50 yards from right here. We're gonna need a little bit more loft, but I wanna be fair to you. Sand wedge probably isn't the right play to be consistently on the green, and because of the technique is not developed enough to be a scratch player. So let's go 9-iron here. 8-iron got too diggy. We want to get this ball up in the air a little bit, so we're going 9-iron. We're going to need to probably get that 9-iron going at least just below the pocket to the pocket for me. Now, everybody's a little bit taller, stronger arms, stronger legs, stronger hands. Play around with it a little bit, but for me, I'm going to go just a little bit above pocket and above pocket to hit this shot. So same rules apply. The cool thing about learning golf is the technique doesn't change a whole lot. Get that toe down, get the body close to the ball. You're gonna see the arms swing back and forth. If we get close enough and we get tall enough and the arms are extended and the toe is down, we're gonna make good solid contact with the ball to get it up and out of this rough. Boom, landed on the grass, rolling out, moving a little left to right, but we got it just about pin high, about 8 feet. So even at a 36 handicap, a high handicap player, you got a legitimate chance of making that. And I'd give you a good chance of at least 2-putting to making that bogey or that double that you need to keep yourself shooting under that score that you so vitally want to do in this scenario. All right, so you scratch players. Because we moved more to the right, we've actually got to carry the ball even further, so there's no question or doubt in my mind. We're going 60-degree wedge here. And all we're going to do for the low handicap, the scratch player, is just create a little bit bigger swing. Now, because we've got to get the loft there, we're going to play it a little bit more middle to slightly ahead in our stance to add some natural lift. It does not mean I want you to lift the ball out of the grass. That is disastrous. The same movement applies. We're just going to change ball position. So for a high handicap player and a low handicap player, most of your shots are going to be slightly back in your stance. For this particular shot, we're going to open up a little wider because we need to make a little bigger swing, and we need to let the loft work for us. Only a scratch player. I do not want a 36 handicap playing this shot. Only for a scratch player or low handicap to create the type of lie angle and loft to get the ball up and over all that rough, landing softly. So here we go. Body's back, arms are extended, ball's a little bit more forward in our stance. I still want the toe down a little bit just so the hosel doesn't grab. And then we're going to be just past pocket to pocket. Ball came out, I pulled it just slightly. It landed almost all the way there and rolled out to about 3 feet. I'm ecstatic about that. That's a good shot on camera for me. You guys got a real chance to make that par/birdie on a par 5 that we desperately want to make, because if we can make some birdies as a scratch player, now all of a sudden we can start getting ourselves below par and really getting to that level where we're really solidly good at golf and we're enjoying each and every shot. That was a great effort at the 50-yard shot.
Hey, just want to remind you to not forget on getting your free gift below on how to never miss a 5-foot putt.
All right, everybody out there, thanks so much for watching this series. It's really been fun taking you along. We're about halfway through. We still got a few more series to go. We obviously having to change venues because if you can see all the way down there, that 50-yard shot is about as much as I've got space available. So this next series we'll be taking you out on the golf course, really see how it works specifically out on the course itself. for the high handicapper and the low handicapper. So if you haven't already, like and subscribe. And if you have some comments about what we've been doing and what was helpful to you, I'd love to hear them below. Feel free to comment. And then if you haven't seen all of the series, please go back and check on it. You should see one of those videos here or here. I want you to make sure that you click on that so that you see the value in building on the building blocks that we've set out before you. We'll see you next Thursday at 6 o'clock.